Welcome back. NBC News chief data analyst Steve Kornacki is here with the results of our latest NBC News Decision Desk poll. A lot of headlines here, Steve.
Yeah, Kristen, there's a lot in here. And it always remind people, I think, Decision Desk poll, this one's a little bit different than polls I think people are used to. This is all adults casting a very wide net here. But I think the picture that emerges is still very clear here. Donald Trump standing with the public here now, an approval rating in our poll here of just 37%. The last time this poll reported out a couple months ago, it was 39%. The big change from then to now, of course, is the launch of the war in Iran and everything that's continued to happen there. So down to 37% approval for Trump. And mention Iran, and look at this. A big driver of that clearly is how that war is going. Only a third of adults approve of Trump's handling of the war in Iran. There's a quarter, I should say, 1/4 of Republicans say they disapprove. Those who call themselves Republicans, that might be something to keep an eye on. This continues to be a problem for the president. Inflation, the cost of living. This has been the story of his second term. Only a third approving of how he's handling that. This area, though, if you want to say there's a bright spot in this poll for Trump, it's right here. Now, look, it's still majority disapprove on border and immigration, but these marks are higher than in other areas. And this is an improvement for Trump from earlier this year. Remember the incident in Minnesota, all of the attention on ICE back then. This number actually has come up a bit on border for Trump. Talk about Iran, what people think should happen from here. And this right here, take no further action. That's by far the most common choice you're going to hear. 61% say that. And again, that includes a third of Republicans.
Well, and it's numbers like these, Steve, that are applying pressure to President Trump to bring this war to an end.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear what you're seeing here in terms of that number. That's internationally what folks are thinking of. We mentioned the cost of living here. We say, what is driving, what matters most to you when it comes to economic matters? And again, no surprise here, but it's inflation, it's the cost of health care, the clear majority, one of those two things right there. Also, though, now more recently, the cost of gasoline, what they're paying at the pump here. Add these two numbers together, very somewhat. 2/3, 65% say that the cost of gasoline is a serious, in some way, problem for them and for their families right now. And then I think there's an interesting question here, a broad question. Again, this connects with the Middle East. This connects with politics in D.C. this week. This ongoing question here, we asked the basic one. Who do you sympathize more with, the Israelis or the Palestinians? The country is dead even, 50-50.
Well, this is fascinating, but historically speaking, Steve, support for Israel has actually been higher.
Yeah, this is now much more even than it used to be, and there are two particular drivers of this. I think it's very interesting. One of them is partisan. Republicans, overwhelmingly on the Israeli side. Democrats, this is the big shift. Now, overwhelmingly 3-1 on the Palestinian side. And then the second piece of it, it's generational. It's age. Gen Z, that rising generation. Look at this. Across party there, 3/4 of Gen Z say they sympathize more with the Palestinians than the Israelis. That's a massive sea change.
It certainly is. It'll be fascinating to see how that plays out in the midterm. Steve Kornacki, thank you so much.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.